Good afternoon from InvestSharp. This is Randy Smotone with your Friday, January the 15th market update. On the economic front, we had the Consumer Price Index, which was in line at 0.1%. We had U.S. industrial production, which was also in line at 0.6%. Consumer sentiment was a little light at 72.8. The forecast was for 74. JP Morgan reported earnings this morning and beat estimates, coming in at 74 cents a share. Estimates were for 61 cents a share. Revenue was a little light at 25.2 billion because the estimate was for 26.81 billion. On deck for Tuesday, we have the U.S. Treasury International Capital, we have U.S. Housing Market Index, and of course we've got lots more earnings coming out next week. Also want to remind everyone that the markets are closed on Monday for Martin Luther King holiday. So the dollar was up, gold, silver, copper, and oil were all down. So we'll look at the UUP. We've been watching it here. The dollar came back, retraced 50%. It's been in this channel down. And guess what? It pushed right off of this channel again today. So the market actually did come back a little bit later, throughout the afternoon, gained a little ground. So we'll keep an eye on this, where it's below its 30-day moving average on the UUP, and it was definitely pushed off of this, area of. It's actually got kind of a double resistance. It's got this line down here, and it's also got where it broke down here around the we'll call it 2285 or somewhere around there. So this also has some resistance right here. Make it a red line. So it has some resistance right there too. So we'll see how that happens. That could actually bode well for stocks if the dollar weakens a little bit next week. The light sweet crude future contract, we're following the February contract right now. It was down another $1.39 today to settle at $78. Let's take another look at the point and figure chart for the West Texas Intermediate crude. So we're still hanging around. The low today was, I think, 78, and we're still hanging around right here in this area, which is where we, original breakout from. So we'll watch that into next week as well to see if it continues to weaken, or it seems like it's kind of pretty stable around this area right now. It seems to want to hold around this level. So we'll watch that into next week. Let's go take a look at the Dow. Dow closed down 100 points to 10,609. The S&P closed down 12 points to 1,136. The Nasdaq closed down 28 points to 2,287, and Russell closed down 8 points to 637. The Dow actually held up the best, down only 0.94%. The Russell was the weakest, down 1.31%. So the market was definitely getting a little defensive since Dow held up the best. So we're still in this same kind of area here, from the breakout. We do have overhead resistance. We've been talking about that on the weekly. We'll go over here to the S&P. S&P, we're stuck in this range. We've been bouncing between this 1,130 and 1,150 now, like this. See this bounce, and you'll notice the low today was 1,131, and we do have a trend line support here as well. So the MACD though is turning back over, and we did make a lower high on the MACD here compared to over here. So we'll see how that goes. We are near the uptrend line that I have drawn on my MACD anyway. And like I said, the dollar actually weakened, so maybe that'll bode well for the markets early in the week. But we definitely need some pullback here, so I don't think it's going to be too deep though. Let's take a look at gold. Gold kind of went sideways, pulled back a little bit today, but you see we're still holding that 110 area on GLD. Silver had, you see the volume, look how much buying and compared to the selling. No one really wanted to sell their silver today. It was down 26 cents, but they didn't want to get rid of it. So keep an eye on silver. See if it turns and goes higher. Let's take a look at the VIX, the volatility index. So we've been watching this baby channel down, and we are actually up a whole 1.59% today. But you see it pulled back into the day, but it looks like it's trying to put in a little base, little bottom here. So we'll see if we continue to stay within this channel or not. But it's amazing how much the market was down at one time today, and the VIX just kind of pulled back. Typically we'd be up several percent, and we weren't. So all 16 sectors we follow finished in the red today. Retail held up the best, being down only 0.28%, and the semi index was the weakest, down 3.44%. Here's how the 16 sectors shaped up. See, retail was pretty good, healthcare was pretty good, biotechs, utility software wasn't too bad, gold, banks, and semis were getting beat up the worst. Of course, we won't have a chart watch today because since I'll be posting my weekly watch list, I'll have it out there Sunday evening, or I'll put it out there first thing Monday morning, since the market's going to be closed Monday anyway. I did want to go over a couple of point and figure charts here on the take a look at the Dow. So we had a triple top breakout on the point and figure chart at 10,500 on the Dow. So that should hold as support. We pulled back here, which isn't that much, 10,609. Didn't pull that much. That still looks fine. We're still bullish. So let's go look at the SPX on the point and figure chart. Okay, we had a double top breakout here at this 1,110 when it printed that. So we're still pulled back. Of course, we haven't pulled back much, so it still looks fine. Let's look at the NASDAQ. Whoops, I don't think that's a NASDAQ symbol. So the NASDAQ is actually right at here. Now if we print this box here and take out the prior column of O's, we print 2,270. We will go on a sell signal on the NASDAQ. So something to watch for. See if we print 2,270. Also watch for it could print 2,270 and just be a bear trap, and actually will turn and go right back up. The market, doesn't want to take anybody with it when it moves, so that plays these games. So something else to watch for. So 2,270 would put us on a sell signal on the NASDAQ, but we want to watch, do we actually print the next level, 2,260, or do we just turn and go back up? And also on the VIX on the point and figure chart. So we're looking at the VIX. So you'll notice here on the VIX, it's on a sell signal, but if we print 1950 right here, we print above the prior column of X's, we'll be on a buy signal on the VIX, which would be bearish for stocks. So that's something else to watch for, is the VIX to print 1950 next week. All right, that's it for today. Have a great weekend, and remember to always invest sharp.